Hello, Twin Flames, and all my new viewers. Welcome back to God Conscious Twin Flames 1111. My name is Pam, and I am so grateful to be here this morning to provide to you this daily reading. I'm going to start with the Sarah Young affirmations in Jesus Calling devotions for every day of the year. For July 3rd, my children, make a pastime of judging one another and themselves, but I am the only capable judge, and I have acquitted you through my own blood. Your acquittal came at the price of my unparalleled sacrifice. That is why I am highly offended when I hear my children judge one another or indulge in self-hatred. If you live close to me and absorb my word, the Holy Spirit will guide and correct you as needed. There is no condemnation for those who belong to me. And so I'm going to read from Luke 6:37, which is part of Sermon on the Mount, which begins in Luke 6:20. And continues. It's also in Matthew. Some of the quotes are in Romans. So these are a collection of the teachings of Jesus, and I love them. I think they're very powerful. And this one reads, I'm going to start at 35. But love your enemies, do good and lend, hoping for nothing in return, and your reward will be great. And you will be sons of the Most High, for he is kind to the unthankful and the evil. Therefore be merciful, just as your Father also is merciful. Judge not, and you shall not be judged. Condemn not, and you shall not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be put into your bosoms. For with the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. And then 2 Timothy 4:8, with the very same verse of in what measure. Finally, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me on that day. And not to me only, but also to all who have loved his appearing. Be diligent to come to me quickly. So, be very mindful of the words you use or how you're judging yourself or others, because that same measure is coming back to you. And it's often, when we're going through this lesson of judgment, it can be very harsh. We do not realize all the ways in which we judge, and we don't realize all the ways in which we've been conditioned to judge. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. I think particularly on this journey, learning how to not judge your twin flame for the behaviors that he is engaged in, or for what we deem as bad behavior, or wrong, or sinful, or just, negative, overall negative. And because we too have made errors, and although we may not have made those affronts towards the twin flame, and we might have been on our quote-unquote best behavior with our twin flame, then if that's true, take a look at why you're being on your best behavior. What is your motivation? If it's to be loved, then you really want to recheck that, and see why you need to be loved by your twin flame, or why you're seeking the approval of your twin flame. It typically means that you still have a lack within you, or an idea of a lack that that comes from, abandonment and rejection issues that came from long, long ago, and those need to come up and presented for healing. And realize that you are enough as you are, and that you don't have to do and do and do and do to be loved. You just need to be loved. And God doesn't notice all these doings of the world. He notices the condition of our heart. And if our heart is loving and gentle and kind, then we will be in peace. We will know peace. That's kind of what the Beatitudes teach. I would encourage looking into them. I would encourage, looking up the scripture about unconditional love and the fruits of the Spirit. My message, my mission, my particular journey was based on and around unconditional love. And I found it to be very powerful, and sometimes I found it to be very unfair. But the truth is, I am better off where I have peace. I can see people through the lens of love. Those are the eyes to see and the ears to hear that they talk about when you hear that phrase. So be mindful that hurt people hurt people. And we don't have to allow ourselves to be hurt. We could step back. We could set healthy boundaries by saying, yeah, I'm not going to expose myself to this. I love you, but right now I can love you from a distance. This is kind of similar mentality, and it's not about tough love, because God's love to us wasn't really tough. It's gentle and it's peaceful and it's beautiful. It's more about reserving your power so that you don't become depleted. And I kind of liken that to a mother or a parent with a child struggling with an addiction. You don't want to feed their addiction. You want to feed the truth, and the addiction's not the truth. The truth is that they're struggling and that they're loved, but I'm not giving you money, even if you get mad at me, even if you threaten me, even if you whatever. That's an extreme example of the point I'm trying to make, but this is a journey for you to free yourself of expectations and to love yourself first, unconditionally, develop a relationship with a power greater than yourself so that your relationships can blossom healthier than they have been in the past. And the truth is, many of us have been through dysfunctional relationships, and we want to break that pattern and end that karmic cycle for ourselves and for those around us. Me as a mother for my child, I don't want her to go through those same dysfunctional patterns that I went through. And I pray that some of what I taught her was on the healthier scale rather than on the unhealthy scale. Anyway, so I was shuffling the deck while I was talking to you. Today I'm listening to 7 chakra music for healing and balancing and aura cleansing. So by meditation, let's see. Meditative minds. So I hope that you find that soothing. So I'm going to just pray over the deck and just tune in for a minute to the energies of the collective for this day, July 3rd, 2018. Thank you, God. Thank you, Archangels Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and all the Ascended Masters and Saints that are with the divine members of this Twin Flame community and all others that are on the soul-searching path. We humbly ask for the divine messages for this day. Please make it clear what you want us to know for this day and how you would like us to move, what energies we might be aware of, and what you would have us do to move through them peacefully and lovingly. And we thank you for all of the guidance you have provided to us this day and in the before and in the future. We humbly seek what we need to know to get us through this 24-hour period. And we thank you. In Jesus' name. Okay. So, overall energy today is the Ten of Coins. So you're coming out of the darkness. You know, we had this, we get this pretty regularly because we go through shifts, you know, kind of like the cycles of the moon or the Wheel of Fortune. We go through cycles. And so some of you are coming out of the darkness of a cycle that might have felt a little heavy and dark, but look at the light at the end of the tunnel. It is completion card, so you are in a completion of a cycle. So be excited that this too shall pass, and that they're guiding you, and this will be evident on the 3D plane because it's the coins, which is our 3D reality. Yeah, so it's the end of the cycle, and then we have the Fool card, beginning a new one. And when you look at this journey as this journey called life, oh wow, you got all the newness in here. Okay. Oh, we had that yesterday. And then the Queen of Wands. So yeah, you have major arcana here, the Fool. The Fool is starting out fresh with and trying to find their identity, and not making assumptions, and really just going out like a little child to begin this day like it's a fresh new day with the wonderment. See how this kitten is playing with the butterfly? I don't know if you can see that so well. And a rainbow encircles it, and you have the water and you have the sky around it. Just ready to have some fun, ready to begin this new adventure, ready to see what life has to offer, to go in enjoyment. We're also going into the holiday tomorrow, 4th of July, which is a celebration of it. It's Independence Day. Really kind of a form of resurrection, that we get to begin anew. And it's up to us how that journey is going to go. We can be foolhardy, or we can be wise and take the lessons from the past and move them forward. See how he carries the world in the palm of his hand, and he's just like ready to go and start this journey. I encourage you to go about your day just like that, without any of the heaviness of the past. See how light he is, because he's just elevated on that tiny little ball with the cat between his legs, the kitten between his legs, who could tumble him at any time, because the kitten's attention isn't on being still and helping the Fool. Kitten's attention is on the butterfly, and at any moment he could tumble, and so can we. And so I want you to be encouraged to go about this day without any of the heaviness of the past, and start at a new day, and look at everybody in your life with a new light. So as we grow and change on this journey, and we become more light by way of peace and seeking God's will in our lives, so is everybody else. Whether we think they are or not, or whether they're doing it our way or not, is really none of our business, because we would have to be like God. You know, it says that in our passage today. It makes sense that passage from the Jesus calling for July 3rd is what it is. And it's, you know, don't make a pastime of judging one another. Yes, use discernment, but don't judge. Don't judge, because the judgment is really either things that are actively in you right now that need to come up for healing that are no longer useful. It really is dangerous to judge people and put them in categories. Start everybody like the Fool. That there is potential. There's a potentiality. You can make this whatever you desire. You are the master of your domain. And in that mastery, you want to be in the state of I don't know, and wonderment and excitement. Like little children are, you know, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Be unique. You can put on any face you choose today, and you can conquer the world. But you want to be humble. You want to do it in humility. You want to do it peacefully. And then in the so that's the work position. So that could be the work within you or the work in your material world of work. But this isn't this that they're saying to me. This is really for you to go about in a new way. And then in the home position we have the priestess. The home is where the heart is. So be intuitive and insightful. And if you notice, the crystal ball is right in front of her heart, and it shows rainbows in front of it. And she's just kind of focused upward onto the divine, onto the 3D, the 5D, looking up to the moon. It's about also reconciling opposites. You could be withdrawing from everyday activities and really going within to see what's happening with you. There's more to ourselves than the wardrobe and the way our hair is done, or our nails, or our car, or our house. In here it says, darkness into darkness, the key to all mystery. Don't be afraid to go into the darkness. Don't be afraid to be in darkness. Don't be afraid to be in the heaviness. That fear of being in the heaviness is a form of resistance, which generates more of the heaviness. Be okay with yourself with not being okay is one of my favorite sayings. It's okay to not be okay. We want to embrace the darkness and the light. In Genesis it talks about, on the seventh day, God rested, and I don't remember the day in which he said, turned day and night and created the heavens and the earth. And, many of us don't like darkness. Darkness could be loneliness, could be anger, could be frustration, could be fear. Mostly all of this is fear generated. But the duality that we experience on a regular basis, our head and our heart, the difference between our head tells us we're not good enough, or, the twin flame journey is crazy. I did get an email from somebody who was very upset about the twin flame journey and questioning everything. Questions are of the ego. And with all that questioning, there is no room for peace. So I don't like to say the devil, but the devil wants us to be in this chaos. That's how the world was made, in chaos and in confusion, so that we don't go within. And then we get this, we have to be doing something and we can't be still. We're not allowed. But the unexpected is in here, the 9 of coins. And the 9 of coins is everything is really well in your world. And that you're going to get like a smack of reality, essentially, that stop. Everything is fine. You're fine. You're alive. You're breathing. You have a roof over your head. I'm not one that's huge on gratitude lists, but I do believe that we need to be grateful for the little things, but the dark side wants us to focus on what we lack, what we don't have, what we don't have, what we don't have. They're encouraging you to focus on what you do have. Focus on what you do have. Focus on what you do have. And then we have again in your position the 4 of coins, and the 4 of coins is of generosity, and openness and sharing. And but share wisely. That energy, that message didn't go away. Be in the calmness of the high priestess. Be in the meditative, intuitive state of a high priestess as you go through this fool's journey, and really take a look at the abundance that you have around you. You may not be abundant in peace, but you're abundant in safety. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So you check the roof over your head, you have internet, you have the finances to eat, you have the finances maybe to go for a spa day. Maybe it's even simple as you're working and you have a job. Maybe you are you have family around you, and that brings you peace. There are, it wants to encourage you to stay focused on the truth and not on the lie. the idea that you know, the union is the most important thing, or even having contact with the twin flame, or that I did something wrong. You can't do anything wrong. You can't do anything wrong. Your journey is to know that. If you lashed out, okay, perfect. I have done it multiple times. And at this point, I don't know that I'm lashing out as much as I have very firm boundaries in place. No, I'm sorry. You do not have permission to bring me this stuff anymore. That's the stuff that's not of God. I just don't want to mingle with that anymore. It's not going to happen. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't worry about whether or not it's going to work or it's not going to work. I know that the divine has me protected. If it's not this, it's something better. That's one of my prayers, one of the things that help me navigate. Not him, someone better. Because the divine knows the desires of my heart. The divine knows how much work I've put into this. The divine knows how faithful and loyal I've been to this mission. The divine knows how faithful and loyal you have been to this mission. That's the language that I talk to myself in, and they want you to talk to yourself like that. This is peace. You got 2 peace cards. This is peaceful too. This is peace. Enjoying the results of your hard work. The dove, you know, maybe you have a beautiful garden. Sit in your garden. Maybe you need to rearrange the furniture. I've said this before, to rejuvenate you in your environment. Maybe you need to put more candles around, or aromatherapy. Those are all healthful signs that you are nurturing you. Take good care of you, and all things will work out. And then the outcome is the Queen of Wands. Determination, perseverance. This is you. You wear masks when you need to, and you take them off when you need to. I said before, master of your domain. Something left on. So leave your divine partner on the back burner for now, and focus on you. That fire won't burn out, but you'll burn out. So you just turn your back to it for a little while. Pursue your goals, work goals, intuitive goals. Keep going, even though it may feel bleak or dark. She's not smiling. She does look determined. She looks a little I don't want to say sad. Melancholy, maybe, is the right word. Stay loyal to you and your intuitions and how the divine is guiding you. Acknowledge your own intuition as being valid. Acknowledge it as being valid. This is overall a good reading for those of you that are struggling. We put so much energy into our thoughts. Call those thoughts into question. Is this true? Is this true? Is this true? Is this true? We really don't... Oh, I had a card just fly out from the daily guidance with the angels. Oh, wow. They threw 3 at me. Okay, so let's see what they want us to... That was easy. Thanks, angels. Okay. Okay, so change in direction. The changes that you are experiencing are divinely directed by your newborn willingness to open your heart to love and our guidance. You are protected now and in the future, so follow your path to the happy outcomes you desire. See, with the little children? To be like a little child. Child came out. You care deeply about children, and they readily respond to your love. All children, including your own inner child, require love, affection, and attention. We can clear and open your heart and schedule so that you can give more time and energy to the children who need you. I did a lot of that work during a part of my journey. All the C's came out. And then the Cupid card. We send great waves of love into your heart and mind, awakening your love for life itself. Your clear decision to accept and enjoy romance has triggered this reawakening. Allow yourself to spontaneously celebrate love in all its glorious aspects. A lot of us focus love on either our children or our significant other. But love of life, you can be giddy with love of life. And a lot of us haven't experienced that, excuse me, as I stretch. But loving that inner child, I'm going to go back for a minute. Loving the inner child and nurturing the inner child. I had come to a point in my journey where I had realized that I never had permission to feel those bad feelings. I was told, I'll give you something to cry about when I was crying. Or when I was younger, there's some distinct stories that stick out of my head. I struggled with weight during my adolescent years, and I felt fat, and I was made fun of in school. And I went to my mom and I said, I want to diet, I feel fat. She goes, don't be ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with you. This'll pass, and blah, blah, blah. So I really didn't get my feelings validated as a kid, and I was then taught not to validate me or my feelings. I did feel fat, I did feel uncomfortable, and I was teased. Those were the facts in my life at that time. And then when I brought it to an adult, I was told I was ridiculous. So I didn't have the skill set at that time to say, no, I really feel this, and I need help with it. I then turned that sword against me and started to say, you're ridiculous. It's amazing how and why, and they talk about this a lot now, how the words that we use to our children, we want to be very mindful because they're dangerous and they're hurtful. And they do cause sometimes irrevocable damage. Now, I don't see it now as irrevocable damage because of how God directed me on my journey, and I'll share that with you. My mother did the best she could with the tools that she had at the time. I became who I am as a direct result of the experiences. She had no way of knowing that that was going to affect me later. I don't believe that she did that to curse me for the rest of my life. I believe that I took the tools and then I used them. Now I had to unlearn the tools that I had. It was my responsibility to me to unlearn anything that was not the truth, which is why I ask you to call into question your thoughts. Is this a life-affirming thought, or is this a thought that's going to choke you? So be mindful of what you're thinking about. I did struggle and suffer with a lot of abandonment and rejection. I came from a broken household. I had male issues my whole life. I had rejection issues that rooted back to a little girl sitting by the window waiting for my dad, who would never show. He also struggled and battled with his own demons, which I don't need to get into, but those affected me. I had to separate what was mine and what was theirs so that I could grow, and then I could start to put down those bags of garbage that had nothing to do with me and replace them and fill them with loving, gentle, kind thoughts, which is why the Bible is so important to me, which is why these cards are part of my journey, because they are gentle and kind, and they are motivational, and they are inspirational. So I'm going to just pull the Jesus Calling. I just feel inspired to pull from here to see what message in the Jesus Calling deck. Loving Words of Jesus. And Kuan Yin is coming to me. I wish for you peace. I wish for you to go and nurture your little child. I wish for you to be okay in the darkness and not run. I used relationships as a tool to run from life and to run from my feelings, and I got validated from relationships, and I got validated on my beauty, and my beauty is only skin deep. But I didn't really recognize. I was so involved with my looks that I didn't really nurture my inner self. I do that now because now I just don't worry about the outside. Either you like me the way I look or you don't. I'm much more natural. I don't blow out my hair as much as I used to. My hair is naturally curly. Those kinds of things. I hated my hair. Oh my gosh. And it still annoys me, but it's mine. So what? Okay. So today's word is, all things whatsoever you shall ask in prayer, believing you shall receive. Believing you shall receive. And then at the bottom of the deck, come unto me all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Just rest your head in Jesus' arms and let him nurture you back to health. Let him nurture you. I finally learned how to do that. It was not easy. Kuan Yin, what messages do you have for the Divine Feminine as they go through this day with some really powerful energies? The light is at the end of the tunnel. Some of them have a change in direction. They need to move away from that which doesn't serve them, and maybe right now focusing on your twin flame doesn't serve you, or focusing on a family member that you're not getting along with doesn't serve you, or focusing on a job. Just get through it until the next thing shows up, until the doors open, and be determined that everything is going to show up right on time. What you focus on grows. So your focus is going to be on the future of, yes, this is a great lesson for me. Thank you, God and the angels, because I don't want to do this again. I know you're trying to get me through this, and I'm welcoming your assistance. And then they usher in to you. Like, it's just so wild. Focus on that is my encouraging word to you today. It's your angel's encouraging word to you today. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, enter the Jade Temple. And that's an 11. Yeah. So, yeah, the awakening is not a pain-free journey. We gotta really release that which doesn't serve us. It's death of self. I talk about that and have talked about the death of self. The ego doesn't want to die. The ego wants to say yes to what the ego wants to say yes to. Kuan Yin, in her temple of peaceful jade, causes all conflict to elevate to higher peaceful resolution. A resolution and healing of any situation that is concerning you is already underway. In fact, you're being asked to begin to feel the relief of that resolution now, so you can more readily receive the divine solution and blessing of peace from the beloved Kuan Yin when it arrives. There are moments on the path where conflict arises and struggles emerge. These conflicts may be within us or appear to be an external relationship or situation. This can be part of the experience of life on the physical plane that actually helps us raise our vibration to find unity and sit still, honor our individuality. There is a spiritual light within, a light of peace that can be brought to bear on any situation or struggle. An energy of peace that can transform even the deepest conflict through blessings of the divine goddess or God, however you choose, priestess of the Jade Temple, Kuan Yin. Peace does not mean avoiding conflict or pretending that struggle does not exist. Peace is the light that flows when we are able to step above the illusions of separation, competition, and conflict, to seek out the consciousness where we are in fact all one in divine love, and we are all serving the path of life, the path of light in our own unique ways, together. The energy of such a high level of genuine consciousness is transformative. It allows us to surrender judgment and to release any need to prove ourselves or our worth to another. Instead, we can just live our lives and allow others to do the same. With more peace in our hearts, conflict becomes an opportunity to grow more in inner peace and loving acceptance of all paths, to learn detachment and to trust. It takes a mature soul to call in peace because it is not a way to avoid conflict. It is a way to use conflict as a spiritual tool through which to grow and become bigger than the conflict, to make allowance for each being to choose their own way to grow, and to call forth the spiritual genius of the divine that is able to provide solutions that can bring peace to all. The divine goddess speaks to you now and says that your resolution is assured. Have faith. Be prepared to surrender your viewpoint and receive a new one that will serve you and bring you to peace at a higher level of reality. It is no longer about right or wrong. It is now about stepping up into peace and resolution, more joy and more delight. You are so capable of this, and you will enjoy the wonder of the healing process as you surrender into the Jade Temple, the place of peace over which Kuan Yin presides as priestess and guide. She bestows healing blessing on your life situations now. This oracle is confirmation that if you have been struggling, a time of respite and peace is on its way to you swiftly now. Healing in the Jade Temple. With your eyes closed, see, sense, feel, or intend that you are sitting in an exquisite temple made of creamy jade. The walls, benches, altar, with carvings and statues are all created from various shades of jade: green, lavender, cream, soft orange, red, and white. On the main altar in the temple, you see a large lotus carved from jade, and you feel great love emanating from this lotus blossom. You sense deep peace and notice that Kuan Yin is standing at the altar behind the lotus, smiling down at you. Say aloud, I now call for the peaceful resolution of any situation or struggle that I am involved in, consciously or unconsciously, through the divine grace of beloved priestess in the Temple of Jade. Ma Kuan Yin, may I be a vessel for peace and light in my life. Om Shanti. Let there be peace. Om Mani Padme Hum. Allow the energy of the temple, the lotus on the altar, and beloved Kuan Yin to flow into your aura, taking you to a place of peaceful surrender where solutions will arise and great healing can occur. When you are ready, be aware of your heart and just open your eyes. And there's a prayer of the Jade Temple. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Shanti, Om Shanti. May all beings know deep peace and blessings of beloved priestess of peace, Kuan Yin. May the heart of all conflict be resolved in the Jade Temple. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Shanti, Om Shanti. And Jesus is also the being of peace. And so, whether you believe in Kuan Yin or not, I replace when I need to with Jesus and with God, and with my angels and my divine protectors. And I'm asking you that are struggling out there now to do the same, and to allow these divine beings of light to enter into your heart and into your mind. If you need a personal reading, confidential and private, on your personal situation, I encourage you to book a personal reading. The struggles that you're facing, if you've been going through these for quite some time, I'm going to encourage you to engage my services as a coach. I am a life recovery and spiritual coach. That's where most of my clients are outside. That's where I really, we can get in depth into the situation and provide you with real tools to help you navigate. I will be doing a video on my coaching practice and what you can expect. I haven't had the opportunity to do it yet, but I will get there. If you would like to book a reading, I encourage you to do so. That also provides you divine intuitive guidance from your angels and guides on what you need to do to help you get through some of your energies. One of the watchers is watching a lot of videos. If you're being told to stop that and pursue the idea of Sermon on the Mount, or things in which you can replace the negative thought patterns with positive. I'm sending you lots of love, dear ones. My prayers are with you, and with your divine partners for peace and healing, and for release of any egoic patterns that are no longer serving your divine souls. And yeah, thank you, and blessings of love.